Welcome to the Tennis Warehouse shoe review of the Skechers Baseline Bully. Entering the market for performance tennis footwear, the Skechers Baseline Bully is designed for the player who seeks a high level of comfort and cushioning with enough support to withstand aggressive movements. The upper material features breathable mesh that is reinforced for added support with drag protection around the toe box. A TPU shank plate and lateral quarter wrap are designed to give you confidence when making quick changes of direction, while the Move Foam insole combined with Ultra Go cushioning delivers comfort and responsiveness. The outsole is equipped with Goodyear's Gold rubber compound to increase durability and allow advanced movers to control their slides on hard courts.
These are probably some of the most well-cushioned, comfortable shoes I've worn in quite some time. I'd put them right up there with any shoe I've worn since the Nike GP Turbos. I felt like the cushioning was really good for the duration of the play test. From day one all the way up to a month later, I didn't feel like the cushioning really broke down that much. When I was moving around on court in these, I felt like the stability was pretty good. During point play, I felt like I could confidently push off and plant and change direction with these, and the uppers were pretty rigid and keeping my foot in place. However, I was getting some heel slippage with these shoes. I think it has to do with that slip-in technology. It makes that heel a bit too rigid, and I can just kind of feel my heel not being locked in place. I just feel like that slip-in technology isn't really necessary in a tennis shoe. I like to just be able to open up my laces, slip my foot in, and then cinch them up to get a nice locked-in fit and feel. As for the traction, I thought it was pretty sticky at first, but once the shoe kind of broke in, I did find that I was able to slide around a little bit, so that was nice, but I would have still liked a bit more give to it. But overall, if you are just looking for a shoe that offers really great plush comfort, then you definitely want to check out this Skechers.
I really enjoyed playing tennis in this new shoe from Skechers, the Baseline Bully. It checked most of the boxes in terms of positives for what I really need and want out of a good court shoe. The foam in the midsole, I would call it firm. I wouldn't call it plush, but it is very stable. That really played into the support and stability theme of this shoe. When I was diving into corners and accelerating out of them, I could tell the shoe wasn't tilting over to one side, nice and firm. I would agree with Jay in that the traction was sticky to begin with, and it kind of stayed that way on most of the hard courts I did play on. Overall fit in terms of length was spot on. I would say it's a generous medium, padded tongue, worked really well. But being that my foot type's kind of narrow up front, but my midfoot's kind of fatter or beefier through the middle, it kind of stretches out a little bit, and I didn't quite have enough lace to keep them tied, so I was finding myself double lacing them. But overall, just the action of the shoe, I didn't have any issue with my heel coming out. However, it is a firm, slip-on technology creates a very firm heel cup or heel claw. I didn't have any issue with climbing out of it. However, it is definitely something that I wouldn't be able to step into the shoe without opening up the laces first. Again, just a great play test shoe. Got about 25, 30 hours on it, and they're getting more comfortable the more I play.
Baseline Bully was extremely comfortable for me upon step in. I felt like the foam was pretty dense, honestly, not a ton of give for me. But once I got these out onto court, I did feel like they were pretty stable. Perhaps too stable for what I am looking for in a court shoe. I did feel like my overall mobility was a little bit limited. And I did find after longer court sessions that my feet were starting to hurt, and the lower sections of my calves and my Achilles also felt pretty sore afterwards. So that was a little bit unusual for me, especially because the shoe was so comfortable off court. It could be one of those things where my foot shape just disagreed with how the shoe was reacting to it. I felt like pushing off side to side was a little bit aggravating, and I noticed the back half of my feet towards the heel in particular was really sore, both during and after play. But the shoes are stable. If you like a really flat chassis and you want something that's going to be very connected to the court in terms of that flatter profile, this is a good option. And if you're also looking for really rigid support, I think that is very prominent here in these shoes. I did feel like the heel lock was pretty secure. Again, maybe a little bit too secure for what I'm looking for. But overall, if you don't mind a heavier shoe with denser foam and lots of stability, this could be a great option.
Like the other playtesters have mentioned with this Baseline Bully, the comfort was really, really good for me, top notch in terms of the cushioning, just the feel of this shoe on my foot. I felt like the midsole was very cushioned, nice and plush. I would say in the beginning of the test, it was a little bit more squishy or bouncy. Maybe after about a month of playing, it settled in a bit. but I really love the upper. The mesh was really nice on top of the toes and that part of the shoe. Also, the tongue is really nice and padded. That's a nice touch. So overall, this shoe was really close to being a home run for me, or maybe like a top 5 shoe. But I did have some minor issues. Inside the shoe, the arch felt a little bit flat. So like Oak mentioned, the shoe does kind of have that flatter profile. So I put a arch support and a heel support in there, and that lifted me up in the back of the shoe. And with this, this firm heel counter, the slip-in technology, that part started digging into the back of my ankle with the heel inserts. In stock form, it was fine, but in stock form, I was lacking the arch. So that was just a kind of a small thing for me, but overall, I really like the comfort. I've tried other Skechers shoes like their Pickleball Viper Elite, and this one definitely has much more support and stability from some of these lateral technologies and the shank. So all in all, a good shoe for me, but just a slight mishit. That wraps up our shoe review of the Skechers Baseline Bully. For more information on these shoes or anything tennis related, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.